Welcome back to What's Real, the professional, a Stevie Blatz story. They are here on the couch with us. This is an impressive documentary premiering here at Sundance about a jack of all trades, a Renaissance man. We're interested to hear more. So joining us here on the couch is the one and only Stevie Blatz, as well as Daniel LaBarbera,
Hi,
the director of the film, and Dylan Avery, the editor.
Hello.
Welcome to Park City TV.
thank you for having us.
It's great to be here.
This is a really fun, fascinating documentary, but first I want to know, how did you all come together, and when were you approached about creating a film about your life?
Well, it's about 2 years ago?
More,
two and a half, 3 years ago?
4 years ago.
It's
4
been a
years
while.
ago. Yeah.
My sister hired him off of Groupon to do a birthday party for her 1-year-old daughter's birthday party, and he wound up doing a straitjacket escape act on broken glass for the 1-year-olds.
You're kidding.
And the kids and the parents. And yes.
How did the 1-year-olds like that?
I don't think they knew what was going on at the time, but it was a circus theme, I think. So
There you
fitting
go.
into that.
How fun.
Yeah, so I had an idea that we had something there. I ran to the car, got my camera, and literally started filming on the spot. And then a couple years later, my sister hired him once again, and then that's where I got the idea for the documentary.
I'm fascinated by that because as a director, as a filmmaker, do you always have your camera in the car just in case something happens?
I often do travel with my camera, but that day my sister asked me to bring the camera for the birthday party just to film some stuff, and then I was just like, I gotta get this.
And it just worked out.
Yeah.
What about you, Dylan? How did you get introduced to Stevie?
Well, this trip is my first time meeting Stevie, so it's been very, for a long time he's just been footage on a screen. There's always been a monitor between us, so this has been very surreal in its own way. But basically, I had interviewed Dan for a project a couple years back, a documentary of my own, and we kind of stayed in touch. He helped me out with a CBD documentary I did some amazing camera assistant work. And basically, I was in New York City, because he lives across the river in Jersey. I was in New York for a business trip. I had some downtime. I went across the river to go see him, because I was like, all right, let's see this footage. Because he had been kind of updating me along the way, and he was even at a point where he wasn't sure which documentary he wanted to make. It was going to be either Stevie or one about the refugee crisis.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Very different.
Yes.
Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very extremely different. But I was like, let me see the Stevie footage. Let me see what you got. And I watched the first day in the storage unit, and then I watched the second day in the basement, and I was like, do you have an editor for this? Like, I would love to edit this for you, because it was just a nice fun thing to work on the side. You know, I didn't ask for money or like I need, you know, I just wanted to edit it. It was just a nice project.
Well, it's a fun film to watch. You can tell that you guys enjoyed it. I think you're kind of someone everybody knows. I mean, you're very unique in your own right, but I think we all can very much relate to your story and your life. That being said, we have the trailer, so let's watch that, and then you're going to get to talk right after this. Let's take a look.
In a world that feels they need to be critical, they would maybe describe him as odd. But in a world that was nurturing and encouraging, that world would describe him as unconventional, unique, and therefore interesting. Unfortunately, the social circles that he finds himself in tends to be more cruel than nurturing.
So tell us about being a virgin.
I'm not a virgin anymore. Are you begging me?
Some of what makes him him is that he's not disciplined.
What's the trick to getting the crowd? Like,
Just start doing your tricks.
He should be focusing on profitability, not size.
I think he looks ahead like.
So a lot of fun. Even in that clip that we just saw, we can see you have a lot of interests, very much a triple threat Renaissance man. You have your own company. Tell me a little bit about your life and about how it came across in this film.
okay, so I started out in entertainment as a DJ at a local skating rink, at a roller rink, in September of 2006. Or August of 2006, and shortly after that I decided let's go into the mobile DJ field, and before long, within a year or two, it snowballed, and it went into dozens of forms of entertainment in the special events industry, and by the time I was 18, 19, dropped out of high school, and then later went into college, dropped out of college, and it just kept going, and several businesses later, and a landscaping business later, and it just went crazy.
So do you feel like there's always a lot of things going on in your head?
Oh yeah, so I am up round the clock, 24 hours a day. There are days when I literally will work 36 hours, get 6 hours of sleep and go back, and just being on the go constantly in different cities and states, it takes a toll. It takes a toll on your body because you're working nights, weekends, holidays. I mean, I love what I do, and I just keep going.
So hypothetically, say one part of your life really blew up, whether it's the lawn mowing or the snow blowing or the magician or any of these number of things you're involved in. Say one thing really took off. Would you be happy to focus on one thing?
You know, it's kind of hard for me to really focus on one thing. I don't know if that's a disorder, but I just I have to do everything. The DJing was a huge part of my life, and that was full time for me, and that remains one of my biggest services. But the landscaping business in the past year just has consumed me, not having enough staff, and it's just, you know, I'm out on the road 20, 30 hours a week cutting lawns in the summer on top of performing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sundays, and it's just, there's always something going on.
I think it in the film, it talks about how your lifestyle makes so much sense to you, but it kind of takes a toll on people who are close to you that don't quite relate.
Yes, so I deal with a lot of negative behavior around me. A lot of the people that come in contact with me, they like what I do, but then they bully me like crazy on social media. A lot of the people I work with, we have our fights and we have our issues. My family, huge toll on them financially, and that I'm just constantly doing something and I'm coming and going and I'm screaming. And my mother is very, very overprotective because I lost my older brother before I was born. So losing him, she kind of has to be overprotective to me.
Absolutely.
So
we just have a couple seconds left, but for you two, what do you want people to take away after watching this film?
Oh, you're the director, man. This is all you.
All right, so, I mean, he's the jack of all trades. He really is, and he is a go-getter, unlike anything I've ever seen before. He does not give up, and it's really inspiring. Like, whether or not he succeeds or not, he does not give up, and I've never seen anyone with that energy, and that's what's attractive about him.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Park City Television. This was your first morning show appearance. I'm happy it was with us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
right.
Shout out to our composer, Johan. He's watching live from Norway, so.
Yes.
Thank you, Johan.
Thank you,
Hello.
Johan, for all your amazing work.
All right. The film is The Professional, a Stevie Blatz story. You don't want to miss it. You want to check it out. It's a fascinating story, and I'm so thankful they joined us here on What's Real. Much more coming up right after this break.